Hey everyone. So sorry, I know I've been quiet on here, but I released a couple of videos on YouTube. I released the symbolism of Little Red Riding Hood and the symbolism of Saint Joan of Arc, which you should totally check out. The link should be in my bio. But I mostly wanted to come on here to really quickly just discuss the issues we've been having with identity, in particular, a question that is stemming from the whole "what is a woman," where the opposition tends to ask in return the definition of a chair to try to show that there's variability. And usually the reply is something like an object with four legs that you can sit on, and that includes a horse, and it's supposed to be this big gotcha moment. But there's a crucial oversight on both sides to a certain extent of this discussion, and that is that they exclude our participation with the object or identity that's being questioned, which is in the end what gives it meaning. Um, now, now to expand on that, we are the intellect that perceives the world, and so we develop rituals on this fractal level, or you can say like different levels of reality, to interact with each other and the world itself. Now, an example of it, to continue using the example of the chair and to try to connect it with what I mean by this is, chairs definitely, there's definitely a variety of chairs, and there's the most ideal chair in the center, and then it kind of there's like a variability that expands to the outside, but eventually you start crossing this boundary where something's not a chair anymore. And how do you reach that boundary? Well, it comes to what is the purpose of the chair? And the purpose of the chair is for us to be able to come together in whatever type of setting, whether it's dinner or having a game night or cards or anything like that, to be able to, in a way, sit down and interact with each other. Now, you can definitely have a table as a chair and sit on the table. You can have a horse even as a chair, but the horse, for example, has its limits as far as how you can interact. It would be very difficult to be at a dinner table while sitting on a horse in order to enjoy your meal with your family. Same thing goes for sitting on the table. Would only be last for so long before, and it would only work for a certain group of people to come around. And so what I mean like that is, to give you an example, imagine inviting your friends for dinner and you put out a bunch of rods for people to sit on. Now, automatically, this is going to cause confusion because you interrupted the ritual of what it's supposed to, how it's usually done, how it's supposed to be. So people will be shocked as to how they're supposed to sit. Now, they may brush it off at first and call it off as odd, but at some point it's going to create a breakdown and no one's going to want to have dinner with you. And so I guess with those examples, what I'm trying to say is that the meaning of something should bring people together into community, or bound into something, and give it in itself an identity. And so being bound up at a dinner table together gives you the family the identity of being a family, or a group of friends being a group of friends. And as soon as you don't have the appropriate identity of a chair to participate in that interaction, you're going to have a breakdown. And it is through our participation with the chair that allows us to do that. Now, with the definitions that I mentioned earlier, including what I've been saying, is a chair is much more than just an inanimate object with four legs. Because of course, there's many other things with four legs that are not chairs. But there's the different ways that our participation comes into interaction with it. So when including a chair or even a woman, it has no meaning without the participation between people. And so the conclusion with that is it becomes arbitrary, which is actually the goal of usually Marxist and leftist ideology, is to remove the man out of the meaning of the object or the other individual and reduce him as a mere observer. And so a chair becomes something that we look at, but we forget that it's not just something to look at, but something to participate with, especially when it comes to other people. A woman is not merely, as you should describe an adult human female, but something that gives body. And so the way a man participates with a woman is, with the relationship extends to a certain amount, the woman ends up giving birth or children. And so that's what gives meaning to what it means to be a woman. So as you see, once we include our participation with that meaning or with that identity, it does not become arbitrary anymore. Another small example, even brushing your teeth is something like a small ritual where when you complete the ritual, the outcome is supposed to be clean teeth. But if you replace certain aspects of the ritual, in that you replace a toothbrush with a razor blade and toothpaste with bleach, you're going to have a very bad time, and it's going to cause a breakdown within your own life. And so our participation with these things and how people come together is not arbitrary. So don't forget that the world cannot exist without you, no matter what scientism or modern intellectuals might say. Your participation with those identities is what makes the identities what they are. And so if you exclude yourself from the definition of a chair or interaction with women or men or other people or tables, the definitions have no meaning. And like I said before, it's the exact purpose of why this current kind of seeming breakdown is happening. So I hope that's a little helpful as to how to answer these types of questions. But I'm curious to hear if you have any questions or if you have a response, and I would be glad to answer them. But I hope to talk to everyone again on a different video release soon. If you enjoyed the content here on my channel, please like and subscribe. And if you would like to learn more, I have a blog on my website where you can learn more about symbolism, as well as short form videos and articles on my Instagram page. Thank you for listening, and I hope you tune into the next one.